Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to our 10th service. We were saying when we started this, and it was weeks ago, that who would have imagined, who could have guessed that we'd be already on our 10th service and probably going for quite a long period of time before our virtual services will come to an end. Well, we're planning our future. We're planning for the summer and the fall, and we're trying to determine the safety and needs of our congregation by sending out a survey. So I hope you'll respond and let us know, will you be here and to what things you would like to attend. Again, my thanks to Cantor Michelle down the road. She's putting together the music and all the beauty of her surroundings as we enjoy the service. And we never could have imagined that we'd be connecting with all of you from all around the country, even Israel, with our Shabbat service. So we thank you for tuning in and being a part of our Shabbat weekend. Well, this is Memorial Day weekend, and we have some special prayers, songs for all of you. And though we cannot be out there together in the open air, we will be here together as one large family.
Shabbat Shalom. Tonight we're using blue candles to help us honor those who are working behind the scenes. Please join me with Cantor Michelle as we bless the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
Let's continue with the singing of Hine Matov, how good and pleasant it is for us to be together. But first, let's see who's giving us a greeting this week from somewhere around the country.
Hi, I'm Frank Goldman, President of B'nai Vail, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Margot Rockland Goldman, JCRC representative for B'nai Vail, Colorado.
Thank you, B'nai Vail, for bringing these lovely services to us as we shelter in place in our homes.
Shabbat Shalom from our home in Denver to yours.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hello, B'nai Vail. This is Vail's BBYO chapter, number 5402, Ernest Shelley III, here to say Shabbat Shalom. I'm Julia Shea, Vail's president, or Nasia, and here's everyone else.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Zoe Harrison, Vail's Siganit, or vice president.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm Vail's Mazkirah, or communicator. I hope everyone's staying inside, healthy and safe, and some way keeping yourself entertained. There's not much to do during this time. Shabbat Shalom. I just hope everyone's doing very well. Okay, bye.
Shabbat Shalom.
From the Lyrics in Summit, New Jersey. Hey, B'nai Vail. It's Hello. Chip and Robin and Harrison. Hello. Coming to you from South Florida. And we just wanted to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're really looking forward to getting out there sometime soon, whenever all this craziness permits us to get on an airplane safely.
Yes.
But we're thinking about everybody, and we really do miss you all. And again, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Hine matov u'manayim shavet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shavet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shavet achim gam yachad. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, ילללללללי, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יללי, יללללללי, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We now continue with the singing of Shalom Aleichem. Written in the 16th century in the small town of Tzfat in the north of Israel, the Kabbalists wrote this beautiful poem. Later in the Talmud, it was interpreted that two angels will follow you home. In 1918, Rabbi Israel Goldfarb, sitting on the campus of Columbia University, wrote the tune that all of us are familiar with as we join with the cantor.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem, Boachem L'Shalom, enter in peace. Malachei every week, Rabbi. It's amazing.
It's wonderful. I'd like to offer you this prayer that reminds us that we have a covenant with God. As we live amidst the trees, streams, and mountains of Vail, we pray for the care and healing of the earth so that present and future generations may enjoy all the fruits of creation. God made a covenant with Abraham and Sarah, blessing them and their descendants throughout the generations. We teach our children to love Judaism, to honor and carry on our traditions and the laws of the Torah so our legacy may continue. Well, God made a covenant with Moses and the Israelite people to all generations, giving our people the 10 Commandments and challenging us to choose a life of goodness. So may each day be filled with kindness, honesty, integrity, righteous acts, so we remain filled with the promise of the covenants. Amen. As the pilgrims approached Jerusalem, they lifted their eyes to the mountains. They looked up and they said, "From where does my help come? My help comes from God." We also have that beautiful opportunity here to lift our eyes to our mountains and pray for help and hope for all. We join with the cantor, Asa'inai. These days have given us a great deal of time to think about what we have and what we have in our lives and the goodness in our lives. And the prayer I'd like to now offer to all of you is, may we have just enough. For Sarsfall goodness, as we join in prayer, as we reflect on the blessings that are always within our reach, may we feel healthy enough to arise in the morning and enjoy all that this beautiful valley gives us each day. May we have enough wealth to be able to take care of our own needs, but compassion enough to share our abundance with others. May we have enough wisdom to recognize our own faults and not blaming others, but working toward being that better person. And may we have patience enough to not easily become disheartened, especially during these days, knowing that with faith in the future tomorrow, that it will be a better day. Amen. Now I'm going to continue with the reading of Just for Today, written in 1921. It was sent to the Boston Globe, but for all of us, I've had so many of you request copies of this prayer because different times in our lives, it has so much meaning to each of us.
Hi, I'm Renee Myers, and I get to read the beautiful prayer called Just for Today.
Just for today, I will live one day only, forgetting yesterday and tomorrow, and not trying to solve the whole problem of life at once.
Just for today, I will be unafraid of life and death, unafraid to enjoy the beautiful and be happy. People are as happy as they make up their minds to be.
Just for today, I will adjust myself to what is, and not try to adjust everything to suit me. If I cannot have what I like, I will try to like what I have.
Just for today, I will be agreeable, cheerful, charitable, do my best, praise people for what they can do, not criticize them for what they cannot do. And if I find fault, I will forgive and forget it. I will try not to improve or regulate anybody except myself.
Just for today, I will have a plan. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have one. It will save me from worry, hurry, and indecision.
Just for today, I will get people off my nerves and not get on theirs.
I will appreciate them for what they can do
and what they are.
Just for today, I will not show it if my feelings are hurt.
Just for today, I will find a little time quiet to relax and to realize what life is and can be. Time to think about God and get a better perspective of myself.
Just for today, I will look at life with fresh eyes and discover the wonder of it. And I will know that as I give to the world, so the world will give to me. As the Israelites stood on the walls of Jerusalem, they stood and faced the people for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. As we stand now and join together with the Cantor in our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. We continue with the most ancient prayer found within our Siddur, the Shema, as we'll join together with the Levi girls and they lead us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu
As the waters closed upon the pursuing Egyptians, the Israelites were now free to sing their praises of Micha Mocha as we join with the cantor. The cantor is now going to continue with the singing of Hashkivenu. And on this Shabbat evening, we seek peace and comfort. Shield us from the hatred and destruction that plagues so many of the corners of our world at this time. But may we always feel protected in the shadow of your wings. Elie Wiesel once wrote about how it's so important for all of us to know who's in need of healing. And I, too, need to know the same. So if you have a friend, a neighbor, a family member that, because we're so distant, I wouldn't know about, let me know. We'd like to offer a prayer for them. Well, Wiesel wrote that once the Gera Rebbe decided to question one of his disciples, and he said, "So how's Moshe Yaakov doing?" But the disciple didn't know. "What?" shouted the Rebbe, "you don't know? You pray under the same roof, you study the same text, you serve the same God, you sing the same songs, yet you dare to tell me that you don't know whether Moshe Yaakov is in good health or is in need of help or advice or does he need comforting?" Well, Wiesel went on to write, and he said, here lies the very essence of our way of life. Every person must share in every other person's life. One must not be left alone, either in times of sorrow or in times of joy. Well, we've now arrived at that time in our service where we think about those in our community in need of healing as we join together in the Shabbat.
blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say,
As we think about those that have gone through difficult times, and many of us have, and come out the other end healthy, there's a special prayer which is recited called Birkat HaGomel. Let me read that for you now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, HaGomel lechayavim tovot, shemalani kol tov. It means, blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who bestows goodness upon the accountable, who has bestowed goodness upon all of us. And then as a congregation we recite, may God who has bestowed goodness upon us, may God bestow every goodness upon each of us forever. Amen. Cantor Michelle will now continue with the chanting of the Reader's Kaddish. It's a hymn that praises God and also marks the separation between the sections of our service. The entire prayer is chanted in Aramaic. The purpose of that is to show the importance of praying in the common language of the people, as Cantor Michelle continues with the chanting of the Reader's Kaddish.
Yitkada ve'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho bet Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, ve'imiru,
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach, le'alam u'amei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaser, Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shemei kudsha, brichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, v'imiru, Amen.
The cantor will now continue with Adonai Sfatai Tiftach. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory, as we join with her.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha.
Please take a moment now to join with the cantor Shalom Rav as we continue with our prayer for peace. Shabbat Shalom, and let me offer now a thought and a prayer. In America's cities and towns this Memorial Day weekend, flags will be placed on the graves and cemeteries as we recall the sacrifice and the valor of those whose memory we honor. In 1863, when Abraham Lincoln dedicated a small cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, it was marking a terrible collision between the armies of the North and South. He offered remarks commemorating those who gave their last full measure of devotion and were to be long remembered as citizens who took a stand and died for their beliefs. Well, this Shabbat, we offer a silent testimony to those who gave their lives for their country. Words, well, I think words just seem inadequate on this Memorial Day weekend as we sit in silence, remember those who were loved and who in return loved their country. They loved their country enough to die for it. Well, every Shabbat, we take a moment to recall our freedom as Jews, and tonight we have this moment to reflect on the price of freedom. From 3,000 years ago, when Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt, all the way up until today. When remembering our brave Americans, we must never dilute our sense of reverence and the silent gratitude that we hold for those who are buried in silent graves around the world. Now, I have known far too many friends that as a Navy chaplain for over 23 years, I held their families in my arms while trying to comprehend the willingness of those who gave their lives so that others, like ourselves, might live in freedom. But it always hit me. It hit me when I stood on hallowed ground and I looked across the rows upon rows of white crosses and stars of David in the military cemeteries. Perhaps you've had that same moment where you've had a chance just to gaze out over so many graves. Well, each one of those marks the resting place of an American hero. And when you look closer at the graves, you realize it's from the War of Independence to the Civil War. Look closer, from World War I, the doughboys, GIs of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Well, they span generations of young Americans, all different, yet they're all alike, like the markers that are above their resting place. What we know is that each of them died for a cause that he or she considered, more important than his or her own life. They raised their right hand and they volunteered to defend the values for which these men and women were always willing to give of their own life. And as we honor their memory this Memorial Day weekend, I think we all need to take a pledge to do our utmost to carry out what must have been their wish, that in all the ugliness that war brings, that no other generation of young men and women will ever have to share their experience in war and ever repeat their sacrifice. So this Memorial Day weekend, I want to remind you that as citizens of this country, we have an obligation to, I think at least at a minimum, to be patriotic, not in a partisan manner, but as an American, understanding God's principles of justice so that freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear will never depart from this land. We have to put aside dissension and all that anger. Remember those brave Americans who fought for our freedom. Well, perhaps the next time you listen to the words of our national anthem, listen closely. Listen to those words closely, because it ends with a question. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? And then it offers a challenge, or the land of the free and the home of the brave. So this Memorial Day weekend, we know why. We know why we are the land of the free and the home of, yes, the brave. Amen. In solemn testimony to that unbroken faith which links the generations one to another, we call to mind those who are with us. Those we have loved and lost are with us here tonight as the sun sets behind the mountains. When we gather together in the sparkle of the fallen snow, when the blossoms open on the trees, they are with us. When we marvel at the blueness of the skies and the golden color of the aspen trees, they're with us. It's our memories of being with them that keep them alive, for as long as we live and as long as we recall their stories, they live too. Our loved ones will always be a part of who we are, and they are with us. Please join with me in the Mourner's Cottage. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach yibrutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman kariv v'imramein, Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach, ve'olam u'me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitzormam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Thank you for joining us at our service this evening. We're going to conclude our service with the singing of Adon Olam, which has so many different melodies, and we never know which one the cantor is going to choose.
Adon Olam asher malach terem kol yitzir nivra echasa v'chafso kol arfei melech shemo nikra Adon Olam ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora Adon Olam ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh
the sun sets on this Shabbat, I'd like to offer a closing prayer for all of you. Adonai Oz li'amo yitain, Adonai Yavarech et amo v'shalom. May the Lord grant strength unto his people, bless all peoples with peace, health, and happiness. Shabbat Shalom. This is the time when we have to adapt to what we have. So if you don't have a challah, it's a good time to use a bagel, English muffin, or the same with the wine. If you don't have any wine, then have some grape juice or a juice that you could say the prayer over. Please join with me and the cantor and Janet as we join together in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
And we'll join together in Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.